Welcome to another episode of Just Ask Eric. Our question today comes from Caitlin of San Diego, California. She's visited St. Augustine, Florida, and discovered they were a fortified Spanish settlement. She wonders if early Charlestown was a fortified English settlement. We're going to find out today on Just Ask Eric. Caitlin, to answer your question, we should back up and say there were three walled settlements in America. St. Augustine, you visited for the Spanish in Florida, New Amsterdam for the Dutch in New York, Charlestown for the English here in Carolina. Our walled city was a little different in the respect that it was planned. The streets were laid in a grid pattern, 8 blocks long, 4 blocks wide, enclosed within our walls. Most substantial on the harbor side along East Bay, that wall was 10 feet high, solid brick, 6 feet thick, with bastions on each corner lined with 12 cannon. Reason for this was a threat from the Spanish as well as the French. On the interior side, we had two natural creeks with marsh, which acted as a natural border. The settlers built earthen walls along with a wooden palisade wall inside of the earthen mound. They also would continue with a moat on the back side between where we're standing, between here and King Street. They dug a moat, which required that you had to cross a drawbridge over the moat in order to get into the walled town. There was not only one drawbridge, there were two. One of those drawbridges would have been behind where I'm standing. This structure is our Charleston County Courthouse. Was renovated in 2001. During that renovation, in the foundation, they discovered there were two wooden cypress javelins, which had been what our early gate had been mounted onto. That gate would have been behind me. There would have then been a diagonal curtain line which extended across Broad Street, where you would have entered another drawbridge that allowed you into town. Our earliest detailed description of the walled city of Charlestown comes from a man named Edward Crisp. This map was sold in 1704 in a coffee shop of London called the Carolina. We don't know if Edward Crisp ever visited. We don't know who surveyed this map, but it became the definitive depiction of early Charlestown. Our 1704 Edward Crisp map clearly shows the substantial walls surrounding early Charlestown. The brick wall along East Bay, our wooden palisade walls north and south. To the back, this is where we were standing at our county courthouse. We crossed the western moat over the drawbridge to come into the walled town. Where we're standing currently would have been at this projection sticking out from the walled city, which allowed defenders to fire along the curtain wall. To be clear, this is not our early colonial wall. However, it closely approximates the imposing defense ships entering this harbor would have encountered. We're now standing on what was formerly Van Dross Creek. This served as a moat for the southern boundary of the early walled city. The creek was dug to a depth of 25 feet. It was widened to 30 feet. The earthen material excavated was then used to build the southern wall. That wall was 4 blocks wide. It extended from East Bay, where there was a bastion. It then connected to the western bastion along Meeting Street, where we were just standing. Later, when this wall was no longer necessary, the earthen material was then pushed into the former creek, creating a street we now know as Water Street. Our brick curtain wall extended southward from Daniels Creek where it adjoined the Half Moon Battery, atop of which was then the guardhouse. Today, it's our exchange, where you can still see the Half Moon Battery. Let's go check it out. We're in the basement of the old exchange building, built in 1771, atop a portion of the old wall known as the Half Moon Battery. That is directly beneath me. A couple of blocks south of the Half Moon Battery was the Trad Street Redan. A redan is a triangular projection off the curtain wall, lined with cannon, allowing defenders to fire along either side. That Trad Street Redan has long since been buried. However, along here, East Bay Street, there is a piece of that Redan on display. South of the Trad Street Redan, the curtain wall continued to the Granville Bastion, which we're standing atop of. The Granville Bastion would have also been lined with cannon. Its curtain wall continued westerly to Vandross Creek, later known as Water Street. Caitlin, thank you for your question about our walled city. Hope we've answered it. For previous episodes of Just Ask Eric or other questions, click on the Blueberry Co-op website.